From the Middle is proud to be a founding member of OddPods Media. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode number 253 of From the Middle. We are three middle-class guys living in the middle of America, in the middle chapters of our lives, with a point of view that is somewhere in the middle. My name is Kendall, joined by the brothers Dylan and Corey Hubble. And this week we're talking about sheds with the Middlers, as we have gotten some input on Corey's shed and the excitement that men seem to have about sheds. And we talk about that a little bit. We talk about our Mother's Day, or rather our wives' Mother's Day. There's a Costco caddy involved. There's a nice little day out. And then there's a whole bunch of hard labor. We talk about a little bit more about tip culture. And then after the break, we talk about our friend Karen, radio, Hot Chicken Takeover. And yeah, we hope you enjoy this one. Plenty of opportunity for you guys to chime in. Check the link below wherever you're watching or listening to this, and chime in, because we need your input on some of this stuff, especially in the back half. We hope you enjoy.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved.
From the Middle after dark over here.
So before we go any further, I feel like I have to play a voicemail that came in a couple weeks ago from one of our most loyal listeners, John. It's related to the shed that Sherry and I just had installed, and we need to give him our thoughts on it. Here we go.
Hey guys, it's your good buddy John here. My wife has been making fun of me for about a week now, thanks to y'all. We were sitting in bed the other morning. I just woke up, and I started telling her all excitedly, like, about your new shed that you got. Excited, like, describing how you organized it and all the stuff. She just sat there and let me finish, and then she just burst out laughing, started calling me an old man. She's totally bewildered, does not understand why I'm so excited about a shed. I tried to explain that you even made like a little she shed corner for the wifey. She didn't get it. She didn't get it at all. She's told multiple people. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
I love that not only are you so excited about a shed, you're excited about someone else's shed, which one says a lot about what you think of our show and us. So thank you for that. But yeah, I can appreciate her confusion. So what do you guys think? It's my shed, so I should go last. You guys have to weigh in.
I think it says more about the way men generally feel about sheds than it has anything to do with us. There's last year, there was a neighbor who our backyards butt up against each other. I've never met the guy. There's like a little line of woods in between our yards. And so in the summertime, you can't really see each other's yards, but he had built a shed like 6 months or so prior. I ended up getting something in the mail that was like, hey, this guy built this shed and we don't know if we never approved it. Since you're an adjoining neighbor, if you want to complain, this is when the hearing is. Not only did I not complain, but I looked up when the hearing was, and I was going to show up to that Gahanna council meeting or whatever, but I couldn't. There was a conflict. And so I wrote a letter basically saying how much I love their beautiful shed and how ridiculous I think the city is being. And so out of curiosity, I would keep up in the .gov website and look at that case or whatever, and came up with that they did read my letter. And I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but they let the shed stand. So that was a good day.
Democracy wins.
Yeah. I was excited about his shed, and I was sad that he was going to have to potentially tear it down and everything. I don't know what it is, man. Yeah, I think most middle-aged dudes at some point we start caring about things like sheds. And,
Do we care about the shed, or do we care about the gift of space and the result of organization?
Well, let me ask you this question. I see your question and I raise you a question. In the movie Step Brothers, when they wanted bunk beds, were they excited about the bunk beds, or were they excited because they had so much room for activities? And I think that's the answer to your question. I think we know it's the space. In fact, it's funny we had the shed thing come up again, because I just sent you guys a reel on Facebook that now I feel obligated to send to the Facebook for the Middlers page, because it's literally a guy basically doing our shtick in a reel. I'm sure he heard our podcast episode and then decided to make a reel. That was funny, but I'll share it. I'll share it now into the Facebook group, because it's nothing on the internet is more closely related to what we're talking about than that reel. So great. I'm going to share it right into the group.
All right. Well, then I'm going to raise your share and share another related video that came in. Trigger warning and language warning. If the S word bothers you, this next reel has a lot of it in it. So, Dylan, I'm going to need you to enable screen sharing so I can share this real quick.
Yeah, that's a thing I definitely know how to do. Mm-hmm.
While he figures that out. I think it's not just simply organization, and I think room for more activities also means room for cool stuff. And so I think maybe that's a part of it. Like, oh, you have a shed. Think of what you can get now.
Think of what you can do.
You can get a motorcycle. You can get a giant table saw now, potentially.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. The other thing I have noticed as a terrible overthinker is that with the shed, I'm much more apt to just hang some shelves or try something, or like, because I'm just screwing stuff directly into the studs. I'm not overthinking because there's no drywall and paint. I'm like, oh, I'll just try some shelves here. What height? Don't know. Let's try them here and see. It's kind of nice. I'm looking at like solar panel lights that I could run through the walls and have solar panel lights that are motion. So yeah, maybe that's it. It's all the stuff you can do with it. As we say in the motorcycle world, the bike is just the beginning, because all the stuff you can buy for it is fun. Okay, so this just came in from another listener, Drew. Let me know when you guys can see my. You got it?
Yeah, we got it.
All right, here we go.
In the attic. No, I'm in the basement. We don't have a basement. We have a crawl space. If we had a basement, there'd be more shit in the basement. Because the garage is full of shit. The attic is full of shit. Look at it. I'm doing 360. Look at it. No room. Just I'm like a fucking squirrel.
Whoops.
This family, we're like the squirrel family. We hide shit all over the fucking house. Orange bins, got the Christmas shit in it. The red bins, got the Halloween shit in it. Everything's fucked up. The hard one. God forbid we have a system here. My wife, because she always in a rush. Look at it. I said, get the clear bins. You know, now we can see all the shoes that you save for a fucking centipede. Well, let's donate them to somebody. Give it to the apostles. You don't use these shoes anymore. Give it to the Flintstones. Look at it. Hey, I got an idea. Let's put shit inside shit. This way we save more room to add more shit. Look at it. What is this? Remember a barrel full of monkeys? It's a barrel full of shit. Shit inside of shit and shit. Shitty shit, shit. Bang, bang. Shitty, bang, bang. The heat up here is unbearable.
I love that guy. That reminds me of the George Carlin sketch of like what houses are.
Sorry.
Like
And I didn't realize they were F-bombs as well. Sorry.
Yeah. George Carlin's famous sketch of like houses are nothing more than places to keep our stuff. And then, I need to get a bigger house because I need to get more stuff.
Yep. So true. And we've talked about this before, and it came up with garages. I forget who said it to me. but the person was like, do you realize the average suburban family stores $30,000 worth of vehicles outside in the elements and like $1,500 worth of crap in the garage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you think of it that way, it's so illogical. And then these crawl spaces in basements and sheds. But yeah, it's so true. We've talked about downsizing before, and getting a shed is the opposite of that. Just
Yeah, that was a very Frank Costanza, Jerry Stiller type rant there. That was great.
yeah, thanks, Drew, for sending that. Anyway, so had to share that from John. John, thanks for sharing. I don't know what to tell you, and I'm really sorry that your wife ended up sharing the comedy she found in you finding so much appreciation for sheds. She ended up sharing that with multiple, you said, other people. I don't know. Is it a Midwest thing? Maybe since you live in Texas, sheds are less. I don't know. It's got to be, right? Like, yeah, I know you don't have basements in Texas, so that goes out the window for the most part. Don't know.
I feel like at some point, you know with your spouse what they're going to care about and what they're not. Sometimes I find myself hedging a little bit with Bree, saying, "Hey, I'm about to tell you something I know you don't care about. I just want to say it out loud." And so I think that was one of those moments for you. You just knew she wasn't going to care, and you were excited about it, so you said it anyways, and that's fine.
We love you anyway, John. Speaking
Thanks,
of John, and just another reminder, John threw a little something something in our tip jar so that we can one day do Hot Ones, the Hot Ones challenge with the official Hot Ones sauces. And we are a heck of a lot closer now because of his generosity, which is a friendly reminder. We have a little tip jar. All proceeds go directly to the show. We don't buy sheds with that. It just goes to
Not shed money.
Equipment, AV equipment, and stuff that we want to do on the show. So you can find the link to that in our LinkTree, which is in the description below, as well as all the ways that you can reach out to us, get a hold of us, send us voicemails like John did, emails if you want us to weigh in on a different topic or give us your thoughts. We love all of the interaction. So what'd you guys do for your wives for Mother's Day?
Well, so I think for the first time since we've had kids, Amy was able to spend Mother's Day with her mom in Cincinnati. And so she brought her kids down they were there by dinner time on Saturday. And then they did that whole thing. And then I, in turn, then on Sunday spent the bulk of the afternoon and evening with my parents, with my mom, took them out to dinner, and they went home and, gave her some plants and whatnot and that kind of thing. And it was good. It was a good time for all of the mothers involved. I think especially Amy's mom got to have visitors on Mother's Day, which was good. So we did a little Mother's Day thing on Friday evening, gifts, and we went out to Longhorn Steakhouse.
SCH Takehouse.
S Steakhouse. Yep. Which I love. I'm a big proponent of the Longhorn Steakhouse. It's one of my favorites. I made for her. I should have found the video for this. I apologize that I didn't think about it. There's a video that I saw of a dude who had made a Costco cart caddy. And I thought it was pretty funny. But then like days later, a week later, Amy saw the video and then she like showed it to me because she thought it was funny. And so I looked at that. I'm like, the kids and I, over the course of about an hour, could make that. And so we did. And so we took I had in the garage some paneling from an old project. And so I cut a rectangle that was like maybe 8 inches by 1.5 feet or something like that. Cut a rectangle out of it. I had a Costco cup, 2 Costco sized cup holders into the caddy. I trimmed it out and made some trim, trimmed it out real nice. And then the way you cut this thing is on the bottom, you cut a couple of tabs into the bottom. So it's a rectangle with these tabs sticking out of one side. And then you get a pool noodle, cut it down to size, cut slits for the tabs, put it in there, slice the pool noodle long way. So now you can slip it over the cart handle, and then you add a little antenna thing. When you use my pen in a paper, a little antenna thing here on the end that will flip up. Yeah, that's it right there. Little antenna that flips up. Glued a clothespin to the end of that antenna. So now you have a spot to clip your card. So you can go hands free and show your card to the person at the door. And then you can clip your receipt to it on your way out. And it was amazing. We had a laugh. I don't know if she is the kind of person who will actually end up using such a thing. She doesn't tend to like the attention that sort of thing brings. It's why I don't wear cowboy hats anymore. I told her that. I'm like, listen, the kids and I had fun. Like, I made it, they painted it, basically is how it went. We had fun. It was the cost of a pool noodle. So if you don't end up using it, that's fine. But your reaction was perfect. And that's what we were looking for. So mine's bigger. Mine, the one that Corey is showing on the YouTubes.
Yours goes across.
Mine spans across, and there's 2 cup holders in it. So now you have a little tray table to put your Costco hot dog, to put your free samples, and so you can go hands free with all that stuff. I did make a little cell phone slot in the pool noodle as well, so you can hold your cell phone there.
Dylan, as a Costco member, you have to weigh in here.
That's brilliant. I don't. I wouldn't normally have drinks and hot dogs before I got there. That might be a way on the way out to the car kind of thing. That it might help me on the way out. But I love the little phone holder and the card holder. I think that's great. I wish they would do, and maybe they do, and I'm not aware of it. I wish your Costco card could be in the wallet app, so that I don't even have to pull out the actual card. I could just like open the wallet app on my phone and show them.
Sure.
But brilliant. I can totally understand like the attention thing. I think I think I'd probably feel that a little bit. It won't stop me from doing something I really want to do, but if I was hesitant about whether to use it or not, I think I'd feel a little self-conscious about putting it on the cart. Mostly just because I think if people saw me with foam on the cart, they would assume I'm so dumb I might fall and hit myself on the cart. And that's an assumption that might be a little too accurate, that I'm an idiot. So I don't think
it doesn't give it away.
I don't think that they would look at it and say, "Oh, that's ingenious," like they would with Amy, because she looks smart. I think they would look at me and go, "He's an idiot who falls and hurts himself.
Where's his caregiver?
And he needs a foam padding. I'm surprised he doesn't have a leash or something like that to like rein him in." So I think for me, it wouldn't work as well. But I do like the idea, especially of having a little food thing. That's smart. It's really smart.
I gotta say that the order of operations and going to Costco, and you can get a hot dog and a soda for $1.50.
Classic.
Which is amazing. Do that. If you do that first, now you're not grocery shopping on an empty stomach, for one.
I understand.
For two, so what I typically do is I hit the Mountain Dew really quick and I swig that, because that feels like I'm not drinking Mountain Dew. Right? I'm not walking around with Mountain Dew. It's just a quick little puff of candy is all that is.
Sure.
And then I fill up with Diet Pepsi after that. And then I put that in the cup holder, or just like, teeter it on the cart like people do. And I walk around and I'm sipping Diet Coke. And then on the way out, I refill that Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I love that order of operation.
The Dew is the palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Just a, little boost of energy, a little palate cleanser. Then you go to the more adult friendly, just Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, whatever. I get it. That's smart. I wish I could. It could be dangerous especially if there's also samples, if I started eating before I walked in, because then I feel like it could kind of triple down. Like, well, I'm really hungry, so give me 2 hot dogs. And then I'd get in there and I'd eat like another 2 or 3 hot dogs worth of samples. That could be dangerous.
I'd never thought of that. That is I'm saying this because it's me and I'm the biggest man among the 3 of us. That is fat man logic, is thinking to yourself, a fat man doesn't stop at I can get a hot dog and a soda for $1.50. Walk around the store with the soda. Fat man logic goes, that means for only $3. I can get 2 hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I don't have I don't have to limit my soda drinkage as much while I'm walking around because I'm not going to run out.
Yeah. Yeah, you could, and if it's a total bonus if you're like kids want to share a drink or something, and take the second drink, and then you take the 2 hot dogs. So yeah, totally.
But then your kids get older and they're like, Daddy, why do you always eat and you don't let us? So you
yeah, well,
so you got to get them something. You got to watch yourself a little bit more when they get older.
The good thing is you can get 1 slice of pizza for all 3 of those kids to share because they're huge.
Absolutely. Absolute. So that was our Mother's Day.
That's awesome. We had some kind of weird. Our planning was a little different because we were trying to make some last minute plans. We didn't know family could get together. I had seen our mother, Corey and I's mother, about a week ago, so we weren't planning on driving to visit this time because we had just seen her. So we were trying to make plans with our mother-in-law. And so once we figured out what those were going to be, my daughter really wanted to do what they did for my birthday, which was to see about getting some coffee and donuts. So my daughter and I got up and snuck out and ran to get some donuts and then went to Starbucks and got my wife's favorite coffee and brought that back. And then we coerced her into going to the mall to shop so that she could pick out some, really whatever she wanted, wherever she wanted to go, wherever she wanted to eat, whatever she wanted to buy. And so we did a little shopping and we had a nice lunch. And then we did have to stop at Costco to get dessert for the next day. Shucks. So we shopped at Costco. And then went home. So it was really nice, full day. We were really tired. We even got to stop at the Lego store and build some minifigs. And my wife picked out a Lego set for fun that she wanted to build.
Oh, good.
Which was great. And so yeah, it was good. And then Sunday we had lunch with my mother-in-law and father-in-law on their side of the family. So yeah, it was good.
It's a fun weekend, a fun little outing. We don't hear you, Corey.
Corey's mute. Corey's not talking. I
He's
will
trying
say,
to talk.
Kendall,
We
you
don't
guys
hear.
have Costco, right?
How about now?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
we have Costco.
I'm just waiting as a final remark on Costco. I keep seeing some of these photos of like huge sushi trays that some Costco's have. And boy, do I wish our Costco had huge sushi trays. That would be incredible. So I'm
Wow.
hoping at some point, if we get that, that'll be a thing that I bring for us to try for the podcast, which will just be
Yeah.
an excuse to eat a bunch of sushi. So
Wonderful.
there you go.
I don't need an excuse, but I'm down. So for Mother's Day, I always ask Cher, hey, whatever you want to do, whatever. If you want to stay home all day and just be pampered and watch Anne of Green Gables and Little House on the Prairie, we support that. If you want to go to the zoo and have a big outing, we support that. This year, she opted for the 4 of us, the kids and I, to do manual labor because she has a lot of work that she's been wanting done in her gardens and garden beds or her plant beds, landscaping beds. So we did some hard edging and we got 30 bags of mulch from Home Depot right after church on a really nice day. So you can imagine how packed the garden center area was.
Yeah.
My anxiety went through the roof because I needed 3 flat carts of mulch and pea gravel. And the forklifts decided that it'd be a great time to use the widest lane to restock the pallets of all the materials, which meant you had to wait for long periods of time until the forklift was clear so that you could get your train of 3 flat carts to the checkout. And then when we got to the checkout, Sherry goes, those are the wrong 30 bags of mulch. So we went back and got the correct 2 cubic foot per bag, 30 bags of mulch, and redid everything we had just done. And that's not even to the truck yet, where we loaded that bag.
At least you didn't get to the checkout with the wrong bags and go, hey, sir, did you find everything you needed? And he said, nah, you can have these.
And when we finally got the correct bags of mulch to the checkout, the guy in front of me tried 4 different credit cards and none were working for some reason. So I was just, you can imagine, trying to keep a smile on my face because this day is not about me and my comfort. This is about loving and serving my wife. So anyway, I finished today by buying an extra 15 bags of 2 cubic foot bags of mulch for a total of 45 to finish the beds in the back landscaping area on the back side of our fence that we don't even see, that the people who built houses behind us get to enjoy. So that was really fun. We worked all day on that, as well as making a trellis with some garden stakes and some metal fence that the cucumbers can grow up between the
very nice.
between the aluminum garden beds. So that
Very
was
nice.
really fun. But I have to say, the day before Saturday, this is never happens or rarely happens. I don't want to say never because I don't like using absolutes. My wife and I, Dylan, you'd be so proud. We streamed 13 episodes of Suits in one day. We watched almost a whole season on Saturday before Mother's Day. We have been running around like crazy. Spring is a busy time with extracurriculars and school stuff wrapping up. And so it was just a wonderful time knocking out almost all of season 6 of Suits. We are now on season 7 and just really been enjoying that. So it was a really good time. Sherry's loving everything that got done outside. And we made a lot of progress by forcing our children to do hard labor.
Yeah. That's what they're there for.
Before I forget,
you sent some pictures, by the way, and you did a beautiful job. Beautiful job.
Thanks, man. Before I forget, and before we take our break, we did get another piece of correspondence from Midler Keegan. So I'm going to share my screen because he wants us to weigh in, and we have before, our thoughts on tipping. So here's the message, and then I'll play the video. Happy Wednesday, gents. Looping back around on the topic of tips. Just added a pre-tip on a Chipotle order, and then I saw this video, and it got me wondering how y'all are feeling about adding a tip before getting served or on orders to go. Plus, I thought you'd enjoy the video. Happy May. So here's the video.
All right, it's just going to ask you a question. Shouldn't I tip after I tasted it? The order of this just doesn't make sense. I just gave an extra 20%. But what if it's wrong or you make it like shit? More and more places suggest you should give, or more and more places are automated. We're doing more work than we ever did. So maybe it's you who should be chipping in. Cause if you get a tip, then I'm getting a tip. I was the one who was scanning the flips. I was the one who forgets in the whip, pouring their chocolate chip you sit there and send text. If you object, then they throw in a fit. Calling me cheap while you panhandle it. You're not entitled to a bonus gift. If I like how you did, then I'm willing to spend. But the onus is put on consumers, so owners get out of paying their employees. It used to be used for exceptional service, but now it's not even a choice. And the workers give attitude. They take it out on you, take it out on your employer. Cause while me and you fighting, your boss on the island just smiling at what he can voice, avoid, and giving you benefits. Those are his benefits, keeping you petulant. Talking about paying rent, my roommate has a lift. How is that relevant? All right, it's just going to ask you a question.
All right, so thoughts?
Yeah, there's a big debate there, but I wonder why, if he was in the beginning of the video if I walked in somewhere to get something, I'm likely not tipping anyways. The places where they flip the screen around to you are the places where they're already making more than minimum wage, and I'm likely not tipping anyways. If I go pick up my pizza from the pizza shop, I'm not tipping. I pretty much, I mean, true delivery service, sit down restaurant servers, because they actually make like tipping server minimum wage. But I get it. I get the tipping before the food thing, and I've wondered the same thing. I don't like it. I don't like the flip around the screen like the sub shops do that. I'm not tipping at a sub. I'm sorry. I'm not tipping at a sub shop when I walked in and you just made the sub in front of me and put it in a bag. I'm not tipping in that situation. I'm not tipping at a coffee shop where I walk in and get my own coffee. I'm not tipping at all. Sorry. I don't know if this is like shocking to some people. If you're going to deliver food to me like Uber Eats or DoorDash, or A traditional sit down restaurant. Those make sense. A haircut makes sense. But I've also heard hairdressers use the tipping argument, like we're like servers, we live off tips, but hairdressers make a lot more, but they also go to school for it. So there's some differences there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like to flip the screen around. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
I think that's the target of the question. It's less about which places should and shouldn't, and more that they all are doing the whole. It's just going to ask you a few questions. That's just becoming the standard,
Yeah.
and then they're leaving it to the person to decide. But then you walk away feeling guilt and shame if you're like, no, zero.
Yeah, don't feel guilt and
Right.
shame. And the employees shouldn't react negatively, like the video said, if people hit no on a turnaround screen. If they hit
Yeah.
no, they hit no. It is what it is. Anything better than no is a bonus. Enjoy it. But
I'm kind of curious about people in those industries. I wonder if like Starbucks employees look down on people who won't tip. Or I'm wondering, or what's even worse? There's an ice cream place around us that has a drive-through, and they take your card to pay, and they are the ones handling the prompt, and it has a tip prompt, and they're not handing you anything at the drive-through. They are that asking you, would you like to add a 10, 15, or 20% tip? And so now, like, that's adds an extra little piece of communication on your part. Like, you have to say, no, I'm not tipping you.
that's very confrontational for Americans. We don't like to directly say no to things like that. And I don't ever have a problem with the sub shop. I get everything's digital. So really the transition that happened was nobody had a problem with the sub shop having a tip jar there that was never talked about.
Right.
It was just like
Right.
it's there for the people that are in their wallet and they pull out a couple ones and they chuck it in the tip.
That suits our Midwest, sentimentalities a lot better. A direct question where we have to go, oh, wasn't planning on it.
But you've digitized so much of the money, tap to pay with your watch, pay with your phone. People don't have cash. So that's been pushed to the touch the screen experience if they still want to have something like that. I don't know, man. I think you can we still live in a world where you can have out a physical jar that's not talked about. I know there'd be a lot less money in it though. A lot less people carry cash. It's a tough question. Because I know people's livelihoods are based on what they earn, but it feels pretty clear cut, like when I feel obligated to tip and when it's the right thing to do versus just a nicety.
Right.
Yeah.
You getting a tip is a nicety here. It's not required or required.
Right. Yeah. If the government doesn't call your position a tipped employee, then don't expect a tip.
Yeah.
Midlers, what do you think? Comment below. We're going to take a break and hear some words from some of our friends in Odd Pods Media.
Hey there, I'm Dave, the host of Beer in Front. Sometimes the beer in front of you is the best one yet. I'll talk about some old school beers that maybe you've forgotten about, some new beers that have the potential to be a classic. I'll also talk to various people around the beer world and get their stories all about beer. That's Beer in Front, and it's available on all of your favorite podcast apps.
So I have a question for the two of you based on a real life experience that happened to me. And I would love to get the Midlers to weigh in on this one as well. I have a situation and then I have a sliding scale. The question is, how much of a busybody are you on a scale from 1 to 10? Now, I'm going to go out and from jump say that I think busybody is the wrong word. And I'll describe what I mean. So there is a person in our neighborhood, because we have a Facebook group for just our neighborhood. She moved in a couple years ago, and she has become the neighborhood. She's got all the information. She's going to take it upon herself to get to the bottom of every situation. She takes pictures on her Ring camera of kids that are doing, ding dong ditches and posting it. And some of it is good stuff. Like the entrance to the high school and elementary school runs through our neighborhood, and the high schoolers have been speeding through the main vein of the neighborhood, the main road. So she's like, I'm going to call the police department and the village. I'm going to get a traffic study done. I'm going to have them monitor the speeds of the cars. Like, she's just become the neighborhood, whatever you
Karen?
call that. I think the Baron.
Karen.
Oh, the Karen. I think busybody is wrong because it says a busybody is a meddler, someone who's nosy, and they're meddling in the affairs of others. So that would be the extreme one side, okay, of let's call that you're a 10. The extreme opposite, one, would be our mentor, our hero, Sebastian Maniscalco, whose philosophy is never get involved, ever, 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 ever. If you find out that one of your buddies is cheating on his wife, you don't say anything. You don't say anything to him. You don't say anything to the wife. You don't get involved. It's not your business. Stay out of it always, forever. It's a very like Italian mafia kind of like, don't say nothing. Snitches get stitches. Stay out of it. You'll be better for it. It's not your business. Okay, so now we have the two extremes. Here's what prompted the thought. And the fact that my wife triggered the question was a sign to me that, okay, even she noticed. Okay, so Kendall, you'll know this road. There's a road between me and the next town, Route 3, that it kind of cuts through a lot of golf courses and woods, but it feels residential. So cars go very slow when the posted speed limit is 55 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But there is like a 3 or 4 mile stretch where there's no sign designating the posted speed limit. Yeah. So cars, just because it feels residential, because there are suburbs on either side, because it feels more residential, they're going 35 and 40, and it's driving me insane. And it was especially bad on Mother's Day when I had this horrific Home Depot experience. So I feel like this is a good example because my neighborhood Karen lady, if she traversed this road, she would have already called the little burb that you drive through, the township that you drive through, and say, we need posted. In general, in your lives, one, do you know somebody like this who's very like takes it upon themselves to like fix everything and monitor everything and communicate to everything? And how much do you think you are on that sliding scale between 1 and 10? Last thing, the psychological definition of a busybody is one who makes it their business to know everything and anything. So it's more about wanting to be the person who has all the scoop than it is to use that negatively against someone. So what's your busybody scale number? Are you Sebastian or are you Karen?
I'd probably put myself at somewhere around a 3, maybe a 2.
And do you have anybody in your life that's closer to a 10? You don't, without naming names?
You know, I can't, off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time trying to think of anyone. I'm sure they exist. I know that I've seen them on social media in the past, but
I've seen them in the wild.
But I'm not. Yeah, I've seen them in the wild. I know what you're talking about, but I don't feel like I'm personally have a relationship with any of them.
So if you apply your 3-ness to this Route 3 situation that I'm describing, would your philosophy just sort of be, it'll work itself out? Somebody will say something.
It is what it is. And if nobody says anything, it still is what it is. I too get annoyed when people don't go the speed limit in that situation. I get annoyed when people go too fast when they shouldn't. Like if I'm going 5 over in what I consider a slow speed limit, like I'm annoyed by the guy who's on my tail. And it's like I understand that like 70% of people ignore the fact that it's 25 miles an hour through here and go 40 because that probably makes more sense. But I'm still going to stick at 30. And don't ride my tail because I'm making what I think to be a mature decision.
I'm already going 5 over. Get off of me.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I will make moral distinctions. So when there's a moral issue going on, I might do something about it. Otherwise, I'm not an action taker when it comes to things like that in the community.
yeah, the listeners know because of our pet peeves episode that people driving slower, way slower than the speed limit is especially annoying to me. Dylan, where are you on the sliding scale? And do you know somebody who's close to a 10?
Oh, I don't know nothing. I know nothing. I don't know nothing. There's probably a reason I enjoy Sebastian so much, which is I feel like I'm very near that end of the spectrum. I certainly know because really if the busybody is more of like the know-it-all or not know-it-all and like the know-it-all to me smarter but I know what you mean, like the last bit of what you said, like they want all the information more than it is necessarily that they would use it. Then yes, I certainly know those people. uh and some that would use it a little bit, you know, because we're all in various like social media groups that you're just bound to like see those recurring names, kind of like your neighborhood group. So yeah, sure, I know some, but personally I'm more on the
So
in the route 3 situation. I of course wouldn't say anything. It's fine. It is what it is. It is what it is. If someone came out of their way, like let's say I'm at a neutral social event and you bothered you and I knew about it, and you're like, "Hey, Dylan, this is one of our local city guys. I was just chatting with him about the Route 3 sign issue." If I had an opinion, would I say it? Sure. But that's a big
Mhm.
stretch, you
yeah,
I
know?
might sign the petition if it's in front of me, but I'm not going to hold the clipboard.
Right, right. Yeah,
that's a great. Okay,
good
so
way to put it.
let me read this other part of one of the definitions. A sign that somebody is a busybody. And again, this is saying meddling in the affairs of others. I still have a problem because meddling suggests that they have like anyway, it says the meddling is usually under the guise of helping, but usually the help is unwelcome and uninvited. Busybodies are often people who are dissatisfied with the level of drama in their own lives and gain satisfaction by becoming involved in the problems of other people.
This feels like an Urban Dictionary version.
So there are aspects of what my neighborhood Karen is doing that are the same things that would make somebody a class president, a politician. Like some of what she's doing is really helpful and good. She thinks it's a problem and has gotten enough feedback that the neighborhood is bothered by how fast cars are going. So she's taken it upon herself to reach out to the city, say that this is a problem, say that something needs to be done about it. Like there is altruism in there somewhere. But if I showed you her posts and the frequency of the posts and all the other stuff that it includes, you'd be like, this lady, is she running for governor? Like, what is happening? Mayor's what I mean. I just found that to be a fascinating prompt. And yeah, the Route 3 situation drives me absolutely insane. I'm not going to do anything, but I'm just going to complain about it for a podcast.
Absolutely. I know that stretch that you're talking about too, because for someone who drives on it infrequently, but it's not maybe a few times a month I drive on that, and it doesn't always register to me what the speed limit is when I turn onto that section of road. And there's a lot of times that I think to myself, man, I wasn't paying attention to speed limit signs when I first turned onto this road, if there even was one. So I don't know what the speed limit is right now. So
yep. And the problem is only that they've added something like 750 apartments and homes in our town.
Mm-hmm.
And the town that it connects to is the one where there's banks and Home Depot and more restaurants and whatever. So this little stretch is getting traversed a heck of a lot more. So it's not the congestion. It's just that there's more. Yes, there's more people on it, which is the definition of congestion. But they don't know that it's 55.
Right.
It's not posted for 4 miles. You can go faster. I want to just like roll down my window and just do this. The car's in front of me. 25, 55. You can go 55. I'm riding your butt because it's 55, not 40.
Yeah.
It really sounds like somebody should petition the local city to put up a sign.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of big changes in the city, a couple things that I noticed. So my truck just has the radio because it's a 95. And I've tried to get a cassette to auxiliary adapter for my phone so I can listen to music, but it's not working for some reason. It thinks I'm trying to clean the cassette. And I tried YouTube videos to fix it. It's not working. But this is my point. I've been listening to Sunny 95, listening to a lot of radio these days. Mm-hmm. And I saw an article that longtime hosts of the morning show, Dino and Stacy, went into work one day and the new owner said, "You don't have a job anymore." And then for a couple of weeks, Sunny 95 was saying, "Hey, Columbus listeners, something even brighter is coming soon," but they wouldn't tell you what. They're under new ownership. What does this mean? So I'm listening today when I got the last 15 bags of mulch, and they said, "Welcome to Randy and Rice in the morning." So big changes. Dino and Stacy were like long time. I know this happened to another station in Columbus. So what are you guys' thoughts on radio and what's happening in the world of radio? And then I saw that Hot Chicken Takeover is rebranding in Columbus. So it feels like so much change is happening under new ownership.
Can't take it.
Yeah. The hot chicken thing, actually, most of the locals will say when Hot Chicken Takeover was bought by some like investment firm several years ago, the quality significantly dropped. And now they're being bought again. And people are afraid that the quality will drop further or the brand will just dissolve in because it's going to do even worse. So the Hot Chicken Takeover thing is kind of interesting. I hope that it gets resurrected and it goes back to its former quality and glory. But that remains to be seen. And I can't remember who the owner is. The owner has a restaurant group, but it's somebody that I knew. Anyways, man, I don't know. I think a lot of radio is just it feels like there's so much cost cutting that those longtime radio folks probably had pretty high salaries and they needed some folks that were probably cheaper that hadn't been on the radio for 20 or 30 years because the job can be done a lot more cheaply now. From a salary perspective with the new bunch. I don't know. Did you like him? Were they good personalities or was it kind of meh?
They seemed fine. One was from Maine, they said. Randy's from Maine, where he unthawed and came to Ohio to host, to DJ. Rice seems nice. She has a good voice. For me, it's just about the quality of the voice. But yeah, it felt like a big change. To your Hot Chicken Takeover. So the previous brand was Untamed Brands. The new company is Craveworthy Brands, and they own BD's Mongolian Grill, Dirty Dough, don't even know what that is, Flat Top Grill, Genghis Grill, and more.
So BD's that's going down the hole or going in the hole, and other brands we've not heard of. Okay.
Yeah.
RIP Hot Chicken Takeover and Sunny 95, I guess. That's where we are.
But some exciting things are coming to Columbus. So if you're big fans of Premier League, which Dylan, I know you're getting more and more in Premier League, one of the things I heard on the radio was it has happened in the past that the NFL goes to the UK. Well, Premier League is coming to Ohio Stadium. Man City is playing Chelsea in the Shoe in August, and they were giving away a 4-pack of tickets. And I thought that was interesting. That is going to be hot. And I don't know how big those stadiums are, but I imagine 110,000 people will be something for those footballers to experience. They're playing a fun game. Try to guess if it's the last name of a footballer or if it's a food from a fancy French restaurant or Argentinian restaurant. And so
I
they'd
love
say
it.
crazy Argentinian or French or like Italian or name, and then people would try to guess. I thought that was fun. Thoughts
I
on the
think-
matter?
I think I've looked it up before, and I'm pretty sure several of the largest college football stadiums are some of the largest in the world, but not the largest in the world. But I don't know what some of those other stadiums are for. If they were like specifically for, or if they're like multi-purpose, or if they're for the Olympics, or
I think like that's what I don't know either. Is like where did they originate? Were they built for the Olympics or something like that?
or they built for soccer. But I'm sure they've played in some very large, maybe close size stadiums. If they've played in some of the biggest stadiums in Europe, but probably not like exactly like the shoe. And it is going to be freaking hot in that stadium. If they're playing in August, at least they don't have helmets and pads, but good grief. It is going to be a scorcher because it is a concrete jungle in there. And that I don't know if they're used to that. Let's say I don't know where all these guys have played.
Knowing how you feel about the Heat, Chelsea and Man City probably aren't enough to get you in there in August.
Man, that would be it'd be a game time decision. Let's say that. I'd need to be within the week so I could gauge weather. Because you never know with August. Likely it would be too uncomfortable, but it might depend on the time of day and where the seats are. If it's a 7:00 game and they're on the right side of the stadium, then that'd be really interesting. Or if it happened to be we've had a really nice May this year so far. It's been really mild and temperatures have been great. So, I don't know. Just there's a lot of variables, but man, I'd be taking what's the stuff that the powder that you pour in your water to stay hydrated. I'd be taking a couple liquid IV. I'd be taking a few liquid IV in my pockets. Because that could be a very warm day, but that'd be fun to go.
Yeah. So I think it will be something. So I wanted to say cricket, and indeed the largest stadium in the world is a cricket stadium in India. And then the second largest is it calls it a football stadium. I think it means soccer. That's in North Korea. And then third is the big house in Michigan in Ann Arbor. And then like the next handful, like large handful, are college football stadiums.
Texas A&M, Ohio State, Penn State,
LSU, Tennessee.
Yep. Yeah.
Alabama. And then another cricket stadium after that.
So they really haven't played in stadiums this big unless they've played cricket in India or soccer in North Korea or South.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was interesting because I know you've been getting more into Premier League and spurred on in part by Ted Lasso as well as Welcome to Wrexham. So I thought that was pretty exciting. I don't remember hearing of something like that coming to Columbus.
It's interesting because I know like the Rex on Welcome to Wrexham, they've had them doing like they're called friendlies, like preseason games. They did one in North Carolina. And so I know that kind of stuff happens with like different leagues and different teams and whatever. I don't know that I've seen two big names like this. That's fun. I think Wrexham played Man City, but they're really different leagues.
Yeah.
So to have this kind of like big match in town is a kind of fun match. That's awesome. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. And to the uninitiated, this is not Man U. This is Man City, the blue and white team, not the red and yellow team.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that the crew, how good the crew is and how good the following for the crew is in part to credit for getting big teams and also the shoe holding a lot of people and they can sell a lot of tickets. But I have no doubt the crew's following and recent dominance helped get a nice big match in town.
Look at me bringing up a sports thing, John.
Yeah. Good work there, Corey.
Good job.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
I heard about it on the radio.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, speaking of sports, I'm hoping by next episode we will have potentially an NCAA 25 EA College Football 25 trailer, maybe like a full gameplay.
You sent us a thing. It's now officially in the PlayStation Store for pre-order.
PlayStation Store, GameStop's taking pre-orders. PlayStation's taking pre-orders. It leaked that it might be on PC as well, which originally people thought not PC.
Ooh.
We might have a trailer by the next time we record the next episode.
Nice.
I don't know how many.
Be a 2-part episode.
Yeah, might. Yeah, I will. We're gonna break down the trailer frame by frame.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it ad nauseum. It'll be wonderful. We're gonna have a ton of fun.
All right, Middlers, we need your thoughts on a lot of the stuff we've discussed today. Your thoughts on the flipping tip jar, literally the flipping tip jar, flipping it around. Are you pressured to tip before you've even eaten your food? Or if you're doing pickup, what are your thoughts on where you are on the busybody sliding scale between Sebastian Maniscalco and Karen? Is that the right word? Is there a better word, a less offensive word for people who like to do all that stuff?
No, it's Karen.
And we love your thoughts on any and all things, the world of radio. We would appreciate all of it. Be sure to check out Artius Man if you want to keep your skin and beard looking and smelling amazing. That's artiusman.com, ARTIUSMAN.com. Use promo code The Middle at checkout, The Middle, all one word, for 25% off of your total order. And you'll be glad you did when you get those products, because they're made locally from all natural products. They smell amazing. They work really well. Kendall, I mean, I know your wife loves the smell. Beard's looking good, looking trim, soft, not scratchy, not frizzy. It's a good thing. So get yourself some Artius Man. And if Dylan and Kendall don't have anything, we'll see you guys next time.